Guys, it's Daisy Brown. I'm just talking to the camera, and I'm gonna show you guys how I feed Alan.
Daisy Brown was a YouTube channel created on June 27th, 2017, featuring a young girl named Daisy and, Alan, the blue, sickly-looking potato. And when looking through what seems to be just normal vlogs from a teenage girl, you see strange video titles. Searching the attic. Alan pulled my hair out. Late night itching. Unexpected growth. The basement. And the final video. Today we are going to be exploring the forgotten mystery of the Daisy Brown channel. I love when YouTube has these little channels pop up randomly and the internet goes crazy for a little bit. When I was a teenager in 2017, I stumbled across this YouTube channel when I was sick and alone in bed, okay? And I'll let you guys fully bully me. You have my full permission. But this scared me, which is dumb because I knew it was an art video, okay? Listen, I'm not that silly. Okay, I'm a little silly, but not that silly. But I was fully convinced Alan was outside my door waiting to strangle me with his little blue grubby hands. Maybe it was all the cough medicine. Regardless, now if you are looking for something super dark, disturbing, this is not that, unfortunately. Personally now, I think the story is more sad than anything, but the whole channel is really unsettling and we're going to be diving into all the little nooks and crannies. But before we do, quick content warning. I know it seems silly because obviously, spoiler alert, everything is fake. But the story does bring up some topics and some things that are not everyone's cup of tea, so here's this little warning. Please take this serious, my friends. Take care of yourself. Now, I won't be covering every single tiny detail in this video. This is not a deep dive because there is a lot. The videos, the captions, the descriptions. The creator even made a separate Twitter with more lore drops. So there was a lot that went into this project, so I'm just here to answer the question, what was the Daisy Brown channel? The first video, How I Feed Alan, was uploaded on July 18th, 2017. 2017? That can't be right. Chat, I'm old. I'm so old. In this video, Alan is referred to as the monster that lives in my house. He was made by Daisy's dad. We see her holding this creature as it struggles to breathe. It seems to react to her words and her movement. The girl tells us that he's blind.
His eyes are very foggy. He can't see anything.
And he's struggling at the moment before showing us how she feeds him. The next video is her going to the zoo. It's a short clip that is completely silent. However, if you turn the captions on, there's a completely different story. It says stuff like, the silence of loneliness, and then the video abruptly ends. The next one is Daisy talking about her father, while Alan is enjoying a wonderful cup of joe. Daisy seems to be extremely sheltered, only making her Twitter and YouTube because her father is no longer present. She talks about how much she loves her dad, and that her dad is a scientist that invented Alan. As she talks, she's very nervous. If you turn the captions on again, weird things start to pop up. The next video is one of my favorites because Alan is straight, chilling. How can you hate him? He's just so cool. The video is Daisy outside showing us her plants. And again in the captions we see weird things like a cry for help. The next video is her and Alan doing some makeup swatches. Okay, girly. I see you. Slay. This video is very reminiscent of like old YouTube when kids would make their first YouTube channel and be like, get ready with me. But you know, in this case, there's a weird potato monster also there. In this video, she also mentions her Twitter, which on her Twitter, there is a bunch of information that helps thicken the plot, as they say. But we're not gonna really touch on it in this video unless it's extremely crucial. But other than that, the video is fairly normal except for the random degrading comments in the captions. And Alan is here groaning and moaning as he always does. Her next video is her exploring the attic. This one really shows how sheltered she is. She doesn't know any of these common household objects. And in the end, when her flashlight dies, she seems to have some sort of anxiety attack. The next video is another zoo video, completely silent, with again weird captions telling a completely different story. I believe this story is what happened to her father, or at least more information on him. All the videos are extremely important to the overall story that the creator is trying to tell, but I am gonna summarize some a little bit more than I do others. Clearly, this seemingly innocent vlog channel has a lot of hidden secrets within. Her next video is her searching a suitcase that she found in the attic. She also has some sort of binary code written on her arm for some reason, but like I said, lots of hidden secrets within this channel. And I'm pretty sure every single item she talks about in the suitcase has some sort of secret meaning. And at the end of the video, she seems to have another type of anxiety attack.
I mean, my dad used to get these for my typewriter for me.
In the next video, our King Alan is back, baby. The video is Daisy and Alan trying out different foods to see if Alan will eat anything other than sugar water. The captions this time are interesting. They seem very self-degrading and extremely aggressive, saying stuff like, "Foolish child, this world was built for me, not her." And I think, in my opinion, these specific captions are from Alan. This is what Alan is thinking. We're now seeing thoughts of Alan because he's evolving. And these captions only get more aggressive as the videos go on. Listening to the next video, it kind of made me laugh. It's a very silly, stereotypical iMovie type of video. You'd see them back in the day all the time. And it's of Alan getting a full face of makeup. Okay, King, slaying. But once again, this video has terribly degrading and aggressive captions. And in this video, Alan is a lot more aggressive. The next video is her giving a little update on her plants. Okay, I see you, gardening queen. With again captions from what I can assume is only her father's perspective. Maybe it's his creative process on how he creates these creatures. And then we see this. Alan is growing. Our little potato boy Alan is now growing spores like an actual potato. And it seems to be kind of freaking Daisy out. Even though Daisy is a child, she's taking care of this self-aware alien-like creature. And now it's growing. She feels so much responsibility to keep Alan alive so that her father's hard work doesn't go to waste. And we learn a little bit more about Daisy's relationship with her dad in the caption of the next video. And it's of her just painting her nails. Their relationship seems quite controlling. It's unnatural from a normal father and daughter relationship. Her next video is very distressing. It's her filming bloody clumps of hair, saying that Alan pulled her hair out. But from what we've seen before, how is that possible? She also seems to have a little bit of a breakdown before the video ends. Throughout the next few videos of cooking and the calm video, and the first one we learn about what I can only assume is from her mother's perspective and her final moments before passing after giving birth to Daisy. We can assume this from this quote. "I can't believe it. I finally gave birth, and I'll never get to see my child grow." And at the end of this video, we hear what sounds to be like a moan and a groan, and it's Alan. Daisy says that he can now move a little bit around on his own, and he's getting quite aggressive towards her. In the second video, the calm video, we learn about how sheltered Daisy really is. She has only ever talked to her dad, and now the people online. In the caption of this video, it's explaining how Daisy's father introduced her to Alan. Moving quickly on to the next one, it seems that Alan is having some trouble. It appears that Alan's neck is falling apart. And in the captions, Alan expresses that he's in constant pain. It's clear to us now that Alan is growing. But growing into what? Alan is becoming more self-aware and begins drawing to try and communicate. The next video on her channel is more lore related. The captions show her getting very simplified and sheltered responses from her father when asking about the world and history. We also get another update on Alan and the fact that he is now grown a limb. At the end of this video, Alan bites Daisy and the recording shuts off.
Okay, we're stopping. We're stopping. You can go.
And in her next few videos, she's constantly covered in bruises and scratches, and she covers her hands with gloves. We also get a clip of Alan now moving the camera. Crazy work, Alan. He's dragging himself along the floor, moaning and groaning as he does. We start to see more of how unhealthy and straining Alan and Daisy's relationship really is. And by the end of our next video, we can hear them yelling and fighting in the background.
Alan, how do you draw these? And stop laughing! Stop laughing! Listen to me!
We also find out in this video that Alan isn't fully blind. Alan can now slightly see. Throughout her videos, any glimpses at her body that we do see are bruised and battered. She now talks about how she locks her door at night because she's afraid of Alan. Alan tries to come in by banging on the door, and Daisy attempts to soothe herself. She keeps repeating that everything is fine. Moving on, the next video is from Alan's point of view. We see Daisy sleeping as Alan walks towards her with the camera, before waking her up. We then see Daisy's walls that are covered in Alan's art. Alan is also huge and goopy now, so it's honestly really disgusting. Give that man a shower. Next video is called the quiet video. We're told at the beginning of the video that it'll be mostly silent. She explains that she doesn't know what's wrong with Alan, but he hasn't been talking. She also states that he hasn't been growing right, and that's why he's covered in fabric. She says that his body and head don't match, and there's hardly any skin connecting his head to his body, which is super gross to think about, but hey. Daisy decorates this with glitter and jewels, baby. Alan's looking sharp. We also get this really gross shot of Alan's little nubby hands coming out from under the fabric to reach for Daisy. It's nasty. Daisy begins to break down crying when she's trying to talk to Alan and he isn't talking back. I believe the intense loneliness is starting to take a toll on Daisy. Her video caption states, "It feels like I'm alone again." Also in the same video, Daisy's thumb has the letter N written on it, not sure why. We also learn that Alan now eats meat, shredded chicken to be exact. Later in the video, we do get some more lore on Daisy's relationship with her father. We learn this in the captions while she's playing with some porcelain dolls. Kind of remind me of the Precious Moments, these things. We also learn from the captions of this video that Daisy was physically by her father. Even though it is fictional, it's still a little distressing to hear about. The next video is titled Unexpected Growth. She seems a lot more active and talkative in this video, while she shows off some of her plants. We get to see that Alan is back to making noise, and not just noises like before, he's beginning to talk. I'm not gonna lie, chat, I hate this so much. It freaks me out. It's also extremely funny. I understand people who find this unnerving and find this hilarious because I experienced both. In the captions of the next video, we get some sort of side plot about a doctor. I'm not sure who these characters are or what they have to do with the original plot, but it's there. It's there. Alan also pulls a Freddy Fazbear and hits Daisy with the... We see him wrapped up on the bed with a bunch of blankets. He begins to ask Daisy if she's happy. And when she doesn't answer right away, he gets aggressive, telling her to answer. Alan is also very sassy. He's giving sass. Alan leaves this video with a final message that he is growing and to not worry about him. Before Daisy runs out of the room, seemingly to have some kind of panic attack. My Dad's Tape is the next video on our roster, where Daisy makes a discovery. She's laughing with excitement because she found an old tape her father left for her. In the tape, her father explains that he's not going to be in her life anymore, saying that she'd be better off without him. He rambles a little bit in self-pity before saying, "I loved you" to Daisy. Daisy then proceeds to repeat the "I love you" part over and over while the captions explain some kind of lore between Daisy's relationship with Alan, and at this point seems to be extremely... Alan asks Daisy if she's scared of him, and after Alan provokes her, Daisy answers yes. In our next video, we meet Strawberry, who is a stray cat that Daisy found outside, and she's now taken care of. She's extremely happy to have this cat. It's clear that Daisy absolutely loves her. The next video is Daisy outside, walking barefoot in the backyard. She seems to be in distress. Her hands and feet are covered in blood, and her legs are splattered with bruises and drenched in dirt. She says that Alan chased her out of the house. She sits and expresses her feelings. From what she says, it sounds like she's being physically and mentally by Alan. She tries to convince herself that everything's fine and to stay positive. She then has a rambling conversation with the camera to try and soothe herself. We hear some high-pitched screaming sounds in the background while Daisy is listing fruits. When she comes across strawberries, she pauses for a moment before remembering she left Strawberry in the house. She stands up and starts sprinting back, and the video cuts off. Now, I said this in the beginning of the video, but I want to do a little quick reminder. It will be brief, but I'm going to be mentioning this topic. I can't say it on YouTube for some reason. This is fiction though. This isn't real, so no one worry. But we learn in her next video, that is only 6 seconds long, that Strawberry is gone. In the caption, it's explained that Alan did this, that Daisy blames herself and expresses self-hate, while also expressing immense hate for Alan. We are on our final 4 videos on the Daisy Brown challenge. What? We are on our final 4 videos, my friends. How are we doing? Are we good? Alright, let's get through it. We now get a Q&A video with Daisy and Alan. Alan is now almost fully humanoid. This video starts with him arguing with Daisy. He is a fully blown, moody teenager. He is the epitome of, "I'm 14 and this is deep." it seems that he really hates Daisy. He antagonizes Daisy about Strawberry. He touches her with these nasty hands. Ugh. Daisy explains that they're now living back together and that Daisy has forgiven him. Daisy is very anxious the whole time. She's uncomfortable around him and flinches when he touches her. She has a breakdown when Alan pushes and antagonizes her about her father. This ends with them yelling and fighting, and it's like pretty distressing fighting. Acting top tier, my friends.
Stop. Where's Dad? Shut up. Shut up.
Dad, Daisy.
Shut up,
Where's
Ellen.
Dad, Daisy?
Dad's gone and he's never coming back.
But after that, the video cuts suddenly. Her next video opens with her lying on the floor. The room seems to be completely disheveled, and she's sniffling softly. As she begins to get up, we can see the room and hallway and everything in the house is in complete disarray, and she seems to be having extremely self-degrading thoughts. She starts by saying that Alan is not going to be in this video, and she knows everyone only wants to see him, and how no one likes her, and she's only a burden. She's sobbing and screaming, expressing that she hates Alan, and she hates herself. The caption of this video is what I believe is a conversation between Alan and Daisy, and blaming her for her mother's death. I believe, and through context clues from the story, that Daisy's mother, Rose, passed away during childbirth, and Alan is antagonizing her, blaming her for it. We also received more evidence of physical against Daisy. In the same video, she also breaks down crying, expressing that she doesn't feel smart enough because she doesn't know the answers to the questions people are asking her. She expresses that she wishes she was never born.
You should know this. Dad, I love you so much. Why did you do this to me? Why did you tell me that I was smart and able to do things when I was little if you know that that's a lie and that I'm stupid and worthless? I don't want anything. I just want to be. I just want to be happy.
This video is really heartbreaking. Obviously, it's fake. I don't want to hear people down in the comments being like, this is fake, so it actually doesn't matter. You know what's fake? Your mom! What makes it so distressing is that people really deal with these thoughts, and people really deal with these situations. I know a lot of people can relate to the feelings being shown, and if it wasn't obvious by now, Daisy Brown is a story about. The second to final video starts off with Alan, who appears to be walking and moving around extremely human-like, arguing with Daisy. Alan's words are extremely hurtful towards Daisy. Also, a quick note, I want to apologize for any censorship of words like these ones, even though we're talking about a completely fictional situation. But you know, YouTube gotta make sure everything's suitable for advertisers. Money! Daisy then begins to provoke Alan, telling Alan to make her disappear. They begin to get into a physical altercation, and Alan pushes Daisy down in the basement.
Alan, put me down! Alan, put me down!
The video then cuts to some time later to where Daisy begins to explore the basement. Daisy picks up a candle and begins her exploration. The basement seems to be mostly junk, with a bunch of bowls filled with water and oil. As she explores, she begins to hear some strange noises. She begins to freak out and starts screaming before we hear voices calling her name. We're introduced to another human-like creature who explains she's part plant and part human DNA. We can also hear a few other voices in the background. So apparently her father had a few other experiments going on. Daisy is very freaked out by all of this. The monsters then put pressure on Daisy to save them and fix them. They assume that she will because Daisy is the professor's daughter. This obviously overwhelms Daisy and gives her a lot of anxiety because of her experience with Alan. She removes the mask on one of the creatures and then begins to freak out. She bolts out of the room and this creature begins to go after her with a camera. Not aggressively, but does follow her up the stairs. We then get a shot of this new creature crawling on the floor, of Daisy curled up on the ground, and Alan above her on the counter. The video ends with Daisy screaming. The video starts off with Daisy covered in bruises. As she begins to pack a bag silently, she makes her way out of a very messy house, trying to be quiet. To our surprise, the monster in the basement is now with her. She has the creature tucked away in a bag. This creature also has hands very similar to Alan's. As she tries to sneak out, Alan then surprises her, asking if she's going somewhere. They begin to fight, and Alan drops a slur? I take back every nice thing I've said about you. But Daisy finally stands up against Alan and clocks that blob right in the head. Alan then pleads with Daisy before Daisy steps on his head. The floor and Daisy is covered in Alan's blue blood. Daisy begins to cry and vomit over Alan's body. We see her run out of the house with the creature from the basement. She runs and runs through the woods and back on a main road before nightfall. It's clear she's been running for a really long time. We finally see her settle and sit by a river before the video ends, and that was the last video ever posted. My friends, that was the Daisy Brown channel. We made it through. So I do believe, other than the story just being silly fantasy and a creative outlet that the creator just wanted to produce, it's also about escaping. Daisy was a neglected and child by her father and by the monster he left behind. I do want to mention something very briefly. I know this may seem silly to some people, but I think it's important. If you or someone you know is struggling, I do have some helpful links down in the description. If you were looking for a sign to get out of a situation, please let this be it. You are cared for and you are loved. Do not let the actions and words of one hateful person make you feel like any less of a real human with thoughts and feelings. I know struggling with can be tough, and it's not always easy to get out right away. But if you need support, please reach out. I'm sure other people in my community down in the comments will be willing to share any bit of advice, or even just build community. You are not alone. Alright, moving on. Daisy Brown was an incredibly unique and interesting ARG/YouTube series. A lot of people in the comments of Daisy's videos are trying to out her and debunk her to prove that Alan is fake, and obviously, yes, we know that the Daisy Brown channel isn't trying to pass off Alan as a real creature for clicks and views. The creator isn't trying to trick anyone, just trying to tell a story. The creator actually has a video up on another channel that I will link down below, answering a few questions on why they created Daisy Brown. They don't answer any lore-related questions, more logistical ones, and the story really seems to have a special place in their heart. I don't know personally if the creator ever went through any kind of, I don't want to make assumptions, but they did an incredible job of depicting it in an interesting and bizarre way. Her struggling with loneliness and isolation after her father leaves, plus putting this responsibility of taking care of a baby-like creature who would not survive without her constant care, to struggling with her own mental health, and the constant degrading comments and physical violence from Alan, to even holding the guilt for her own mother's death, and then her father's disappearance, and then finally her being able to escape. Round of applause. I would love to hear about what you guys think, and your theories, and your ideas, and everything about Daisy Brown that you guys concocted in your little brains, because I know it's good. There are plenty of mysteries and deep lore about Daisy Brown that I didn't get into in this video because, like I said, I've been recording 3 hours. I'm not a deep diver. I do like it in the shallows. I'm comfy in the shallows. But if you are interested, please go explore the Daisy Brown YouTube channel and threads online about it. There's a lot of info. But my friends, that was the story of Daisy Brown. We made it through. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me on this journey. I got some sappy YouTube stuff to say, so here's your little warning. I'm about to get classic YouTuber. I want to say thank you, and that I'm so privileged to have all 30,000 of you guys. Jesus. Where did you come from? It's insane. And even if you're just a casual viewer, just the thought of someone enjoying these dumb videos that I make enough to click a red button is incredible to me. So thank you. And I apologize for this video taking so long to upload. I know it's going to take a very hot minute. I've been dealing... Lore time, lore! I've been dealing with some intense anxiety. Me and my many anxiety disorders. But from my channel growing so much so quickly, I've been putting some pressure on myself to make interesting content that you guys will enjoy and I will enjoy making. But alright, I need to shut up. Enough. This is sap. Nasty. Please leave suggestions for things you want to see me cover down below. Let me steal your ideas. Thank you guys one last time for all the support. So, same time next week. It's over. It's over. My legs. Oh. Ah.